And I ran so far away from them night and day. But to show you a say. A drone appears above your head. A more bombs is falling down on you. Falling down on you. The fleet is moving nearer still. The street of home as it comes in view. The oil must flow through. And there I ran so far away. The bomb I ran upon them night and day. But destroy USA. A tiny hit hits a big red button. Atomic bombs come falling down on you. Mushroom clouds in view. Send out a tweet to let you know. World War III, 'cause Israel told me to. All for Netanyahu. And I ran so far away. From our red, upon them night and day. And I ran so far away. From our red, upon them night and day. But destroy USA.
Okay, all right. Hopefully people can repost the space, get in here, grab a mic. We're going to be talking about all this stuff going on. It's been a crazy week. Quite entertaining with the State of the Union address and bombing Iran. It's like Iraq #2. No, it's more like Desert Storm #2. Because we are fighting Saudi Arabia's war, but whatever. We're not going to get into politics. We're going to get into the economics. Welcome, Steph, Hermit. Hermit, I sent you a co-host. If you're having problems, let me know. It says you're allowed up to 2 co-hosts. To add this person, remove 1 co-host. I don't see any co-hosts. So fuck X, fuck Elon. Let's just make some money.
Try send it one more time, because usually if I don't, it just disappears and then I can't see it.
I can't. I've sent it 2 times, and now it says that I have to remove a co-host in order to send it again.
Oh, well, let me leave, and then I'll see. I'll leave. I'll make a rotation real quick.
All right. I guess Steph and the EAC, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing great, bro. I'm looking forward to tonight's space. I'm got you live streaming on Rumble, which will go to YouTube after.
Nice. How's Rumble doing? I know you've been working on that. I get your notifications. I've subscribed to you. So
I like it, because it just, you're instantly monetized, even though you have to make $50 before you can cash out, and you made 8 cents. It's still 8 cents more than I've made from YouTube, but it's kind of, and I think that because it has a crypto wallet and people can send you a tip in crypto that that's the reason I like it more than YouTube, because it's more it's a crypto app.
Yeah, man. I mean, that is a benefit, and I like that So I have an account. I haven't done a lot. I don't really care about monetization, but I do care about you know getting off this damn platform. You know, I used to do some streaming with a friend's project. So and you can stream, and when you're streaming, you can connect it to your X, you can connect it to Rumble and a bunch of other ones. So I think that's going to be the future, and it would be nice, if we could do some like live charting and, sharing the screen. I've seen a couple spaces do that. And speaking of which, I got Steph in here. I don't know what time it is in Belgium, but welcome.
Hey, 3:07 a.m. But
Dude,
I
I
saw
was
your
up last night at
invitation.
3:07 looking at the blood moon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I got your invitation, and I said, okay, I'll pop in for a bit and
I
see what
appreciate it.
all the fuss is about. I hope you got your short running. I started one just 20 minutes ago, man. 68,700.
I might
Target.
actually do that during the show, actually. So, or show,
Missed
space,
your entry,
whatever.
I think. Yeah.
Um, why don't you tell us? Because I know Hermit was he did he had coin catch. Hermit Steph has a platform, no KYC, friendly in the US. They got the same licenses that CoinCatch has. Um,
hmm
so if you want to talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, it's Bitfinex. I got an affiliation deal with them. Um, if you want any kind of that, let me know. It is, yeah, you get automatically you get your rebates, fee rebates, and the fees are so damn low compared to any other exchange that I've used. And for me, also, what is very important is the user friendly, man. You drag your stop loss, you drag your take profit. Easy to open trades. It's an exchange and trading tool in one. The charts, you have most indicators on there, so you can also watch the chart on there a little bit if you want. Uh, I love it. I started using it late January, and now I'm completely moved everything to it. I'm only leverage trading and actually spot buying on Bitfinex now. If you are interested, please send me a DM, uh, and I'll send you an invitation. And the fee rebates happen every 24 hours in USDT, straight back into your spot account. You don't have to ask. They have a first deposit bonus. They have a first leverage trade bonus. They have a first spot buy bonus. Yeah, and it's really one of the best platforms out there because I had a little problem with the copy trading wallet that was glitching on me, and he immediately fixed it. And they said, yeah, because that trade went wrong. It was such a volatile spike that it missed my take profit. I had take profit at 29%, and it just flew past it. And to my surprise, it flew past it on the way down as well. It just ignored it. So I reported that glitch. It took me 2 to 3 minutes to get someone from the help desk, not AI, but actually human, explained the problem. He said, yeah, on the copy trade, it's only 1 month old. They're copy trading. The exchange itself is 4 years old, but the copy trade is only 1 month old. So there's a little few bugs. And I'm actually helping them with setting that up perfectly. So I'm actually being a bit of a guinea pig for them testing the copy trade platform. But what they did was immediately refund. Yeah, immediately refunded. No question asked. There you go. The money's back in your bonus account. Yeah, so I think the damage was like
$19 I missed in that trade, and they gave me $25 in bonus dollars instead. So
Yeah, it's the
I love
principle,
it.
man. And I just signed up under your link. And definitely, I was getting into the setting up CoinGlass for copy trading. I hadn't done it yet, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna copy trade
So
you.
easy. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
easy.
and see how that platform goes. Also, there's a feature in that platform that I'm gonna mess around with, but you can set up a bot. So,
Yeah, the grid
I
bot.
don't know.
Absolutely. That is fantastic to create volume, and profit, of course, is not
Yeah,
like your leverage trading. You're spreading
of
your
course.
with the grid, you're spreading it, but it's fun, and every day you will get fee rebates from that. So if you
Yeah.
just
Well,
break even, you're making profit.
so Steph, one of my community members at Captain B&B, he's trading with a Claude bot, right?
Mm.
And yeah, and so he has like a bunch of AI agents that are trading for him, and he bet me that he could do better than me, and
Oh.
I said, because yeah. So the thing is, like, I kind of like, well, he was asking me, why don't you do it? And I'm all like, I don't think a bot can do better than me. And he's like, well, let's find out, right?
Mhm.
And so, and then I was thinking about it. I'm like, I better set some rules to this because, bots are 24/7, right? Like
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
trading 24/7, So I said, let's do like 50 trades or 30 trades, a trade a day for a month, you
Mhm.
know, and I don't know if he'll agree to that, but now that this platform has that, I'm gonna look into it. I'm definitely gonna look into it. I'm a programmer by trade. Leverage trading comes second for me.
Mhm.
I was involved in TradFi for many years. Speaking of which, we have Barbie, and I want to get to my co-host that I can't get up here as co-host, Hermit. How's it going?
Hi, how you doing?
Great. Now that you're here.
Ooh. You know what I just realized? There's an aesthetic going on that's like yellowy and orange on everyone else's profile picture. I feel very mismatched with the rest of the room.
I know. What is that?
I'm throwing the aesthetic off right now. I'm sorry, guys. No, I hope everyone's good. Hope everyone's having a good week here. I've been super MIA off spaces, doing some IRL work. Well, not IRL, still online, just not Twitter. But yeah, how's everyone else doing?
Well, it's been a crazy week, Barbie. We have a blood moon tonight. I might actually step out of my house and go check it out. Last night there was a lunar eclipse. It's weird because as a flat earther, I there was this curvature shadow on the moon, and I'm like, what the fuck is that, right? But I don't know. But that's just a joke. But yeah, and then we had, last week we covered the State of the Union, which was, it was entertaining, but there wasn't a lot of substance there. And and what else? Oh, and then, oh yeah, how can I forget? The intro song, some of you guys missed it, was, Bomb in Iran. That was I can't find the moon. Huh. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, we bombed Iran. So we're gonna talk about that. Now, of course, I have my opinions on how that's gonna go about, but yeah, Hermit, are you there? He's my trusted co-host that doesn't have co-host. He's my voice of reason. I'm a bit crazy, so I
Can
have
you
to balance it out.
are you having issues co-hosting him?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is happening earlier. So if you click on him and you hit invite to co-host, he doesn't get it?
Yeah, I sent it to him twice, and now it's saying that I have to remove a co-host
Okay,
in order to have
so
one.
this is how you so this is how you bypass that. So you're gonna quickly shut the app and reopen it, come back to your space, and it should clear those two co-hosts. I don't know if you want to do that or not.
I knew you were gonna say that. I've done that, and it does work. Fair.
Well, I mean, I'm just trying to help. Whatever. If you
thank
want
you
to leave us all down
I
here,
need the
fine.
validation, Barbie. Thank you very much. I will do that. So tag Hermit. I'm going to do that. Don't say anything mean about me while I'm gone.
Don't worry, I'll do it for them.
All right.
So,
gotcha.
anyways, text.
Anyways, no, I'm doing all right. It was interesting. I was talking to somebody else about the State of the Union, and they're like, it was a terrible State of the Union. And I was just like, well, what made it so terrible? And they were just like, I don't know. And I was just like, because he didn't talk about crypto, huh? And they're like, well, yeah. And I was like, that literally was some of their people's. It's like if he didn't talk about what he wanted you to talk, or what you wanted him to talk about, it was a terrible State of the Union. So I mean, yeah. Anyways, I think that was like the mixed review on that, because he didn't talk about crypto. But apparently he keeps posting about it, at least with the Clarity Act, and saying the banks need to like just hurry up and get on board, and stop stonewalling it. Which it's kind of hilarious, because you're just saying, well, the banks are doing it. It's like, well, the banks shouldn't have any power to sit there and say, hey, you know, they shouldn't be able to block it, essentially. So that just means that whoever's not voting for or trying to get things done, they're in the bank's pockets, which we already know. You can generally tell who wants what, and then who is paying senators off in some fashion. So at that point, you're just kind of like, all right, folks, you don't make. I mean, you make it pretty obvious. It's like, if you don't want crypto, it's generally probably because the banks are sitting there dumping millions into your super PACs and all this other stuff or whatever. And it's I don't know. Like, it's one of those deals. Like, if it seems like it's something that should be done and is probably pretty good, you're kind of making it pretty obvious that somebody, you know, like, I don't know if that makes sense. That's hopefully it does. It's it'll happen eventually, but yeah, things need to just be done. And honestly, as far as I'm concerned, somebody, if I'd ever become like a federal employee, representative, or senator, which will never happen, I would straight up just be like, you're getting paid by these people, you're getting paid by these people, you're getting paid by these. I would just air out everybody's laundry and just be like, this is who these people work for. They don't work for you. They are working for the lobbyists, corporations, and all that other stuff. So, yeah, instead of, you can get mad at these people, but you also need to like get mad at some of these corporations. Now, I'm not sitting there saying like I'm not some commie, against capitalism or whatever. I just think that some of these businesses need to, um, you know, just do things the right way.
Yeah, I think that you're dead on, dude. I think that our like, so Elizabeth Warren, she wants us to KYC our wallets. Yes, you heard that right. She wants us to KYC our wallets. So we can't have crypto wallets unless they are KYC'd. Tell me how that's going to work. I want her to KYC her lobbyists, her bank lobbyists on the Senate floor that's holding up. And they've changed the Clarity Act 137 times since it got pushed in June to the Senate from the House. So what were you going to say, Barbie?
Friends.
Hold on, Drew.
Hang
We'll
on,
get
Drew.
to you.
Go ahead,
We'll get to
Barbie.
you. Give me a minute.
Hold on. It's for me. It's for me. Listen, this reminds me of when COVID started and Justin Trudeau messaged Trust Wallet, was like, hey, we're going to need you to give us all the information of the people who own the wallets or whatever. And then Trust Wallet basically responded, was like, I don't think you understand how crypto works. Like, we don't
Yeah,
we don't have that information.
they don't.
Yeah, of course they don't, but it was just like funny how like they like responded, was like, yeah, you clearly don't understand how this works.
Yeah, we got a couple of Canadians in here. And I remember when Canada passed this thing where you can only have like 4 of the cryptos, Bitcoin, and that you're limited on how much crypto you can buy per year. Is that still in effect?
I can't speak to that because I don't buy my crypto through a Canadian account.
Yeah, EAC might be able to. Master, are you in Canada too?
Me? No, US.
Okay, yeah, no,
So-
I didn't think so. But yeah,
Yeah, I can buy
EAC.
as many cryptos as I want, but yeah, like taxes gets complicated, but fuck it. Like you just pay the extra money and
Yeah.
do taxes.
Hey, Drew Rob has hands on a little longer. Drew, go ahead.
Yeah, he does that anyway. He always has his hand,
Oh.
but yeah, we can go to Drew. How is
Yeah.
the swamp, Drew? How's the internet connection?
Yeah, GM friends. I'm in my truck, so I'll probably go out here in a minute. But I'll be on Wi-Fi once I get home. Yeah, I mean, the Clarity Act proved it. The Republicans went to the bank lobbyists hard. I mean, that y'all said millions. The banks threw billions at the Republican camp. So you saw when Coinbase pulled, Kraken, then Gemini, and we're all going Democrat on the presidential next. It's going to be Andy Bashir. I'm telling you, Andy Bashir. But this upcoming election, it'll be interesting to see where crypto puts his bets for governors on this upcoming round. I think we'll still be mainly Republican on the governor side for these upcoming elections, but I don't know, to be honest with you. I haven't made any poly markets on like the Florida governor yet because I'm trying to figure out which side I'm even going on, to be honest with you. This may be, I mean, locally, I'm definitely Republican, all my buddies, but this may be the first governor I go Democrat, and next election will be the first time I go Democrat on a presidential. I don't give a damn about either party. As a crypto guy and as as an Appalachian man, I don't care, but I am partial to the Bashir family. Steve made me a Kentucky Colonel back in the day. So, but yeah, as far as like talking about the Canadian shit and like KYC, most people on this app do not realize they are KYC'd everything they do in crypto. Like if they're on an iPhone, everything they do is KYC, everything. So there's only like I know everybody here in this space for the most part no KYC and no KYC DAO type people, but the majority of people you interact with on this exit liquidity app are KYC'd all over across the board.
Yeah, dude. It's funny because the Texas primary was today. I went there to the library, and Barbie's gonna be happy about this. But I applied for a new passport, a civilian passport, if you know what I mean. If you know, you know. And also, it was like a 30-minute wait for that. And I went and voted on the primaries, and it's funny because it's like it asks me on the primaries, am I Democrat or Republican? But there's no libertarian checkbox. So whatever. I picked the Republican one because, dude, I am scared on this Democrat, James Tallarico in Texas. He literally said, he's all like, the people shouldn't fear the government should fear the people. And I told my sister this because a lot of people didn't get it. Everybody's like, yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. I'm like, no, my sister said it right away. She got what I meant. She's like, what is he trying to do? Start a civil war? What a fucking idiot. And I'm like, yeah. We're supposed to be able to trust the government, right? And the government, a republic, is supposed to serve the people, not this fear bullshit. You know what I mean, Master?
I understand.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but like, it's just the way the world is, man. Like who has power run the world? Like,
Texas may go Democrat on their governor. I mean, he's got enough
I doubt
Momo,
it.
especially coming out of Austin and Dallas and Houston. I wouldn't be surprised.
Dude, no, the day
Sorry,
the
bro. I
day
had to
that
mute him. Go ahead.
the day that Texas vote a Democrat for the governor, then this timeline is glitchy. Like something is wrong.
Well,
That's impossible.
remember, we had Kennedy,
Something
dude.
is wrong. Look at it all.
So JFK, Lyndon B. Johnson was a Democrat from Texas. So it does happen. But the point is like the we have to again, always we paired up between two bad choices, right? So anyway,
I think
what were you
Elon's
saying,
going to
Drew?
time the singularity right before election day, like a
not the
week
singularity
before.
shit
Oh,
again.
you
No,
know,
no,
by
we're
the way,
there.
just
We
so-
are
just-
there this calendar year, man, and it
No.
will have a big effect. You can downplay it all the fuck you want, but like we've been a Sim City in the U.S., but once we go Sim City worldwide, they'll be able to run the simulations a million ways and know how to fuck it all. I'm telling you,
Are you
it's
on that
coming.
8-pound hammer or whatever?
Nah, man, I've been cleaning up all that shit for a month and a half.
Oh, okay.
Almost
I
two.
wanted to say, guys, so it's in Trump benefit to sign the Clery Act before midterm because he fulfilled the promise that he said he would on his campaign trail. So
Well,
I don't
that's
see.
all it is.
The crypto already left his camp, and that further removes him before the midterm.
Okay,
If he
yeah.
waits till
Dude,
after.
Drew, I understand the singularity, yada yada. But no, so the thing is, Trump, if you guys have been noticing, right? And I was shorting the market. Steph is here, he's a leverage trader. I was shorting the market in January. As soon as Trump was elected, I started to pay attention on how he was going to deal with crypto, right? And he signed that executive order very nonchalantly. You could read it in his mannerisms. You could see it at the crypto summit when he said right in front of Michael Saylor, I hear you're not supposed to sell the Bitcoin, right? And he said the Bitcoin, right? And so this guy doesn't know shit about crypto, right? He's just doing what his sons are telling him and Barron, or, I like David Sachs, the crypto czar, but let's be honest, guys. Even though we are over elated that this president is pro crypto, let us not be mistaken that he's just an old guy that doesn't understand the tech, and we got these dinosaurs that run our country, and it's fine, but we can't expect much more out of them. So he's just, he pardoned CZ because someone told him to. It was a cool thing to do, right? And of course, the other side of the aisle, are going to attack him, right? So this isn't even our fight. We're here in crypto, decentralized, right? We don't give a fuck, Republican, Democrat, whatever, right? We're decentralized. We don't mess with anybody in charge. We don't need anybody in charge. We work on consensus. We run spaces. We talk about it. We pump and dump meme coins. I don't know. But yeah, we don't need all that shit. Barbie, what do you got?
It's a little unrelated, but I heard you mentioned you're getting a passport. So when Tex-Mex?
Right? Yeah, definitely. So 4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks. 8 weeks. I gotta, call them and say what's up.
Understood.
Yep. So anyhow, yeah. We're not gonna give a damn Republican, Democrat. We're not gonna get into the whole politics, really. We're gonna talk about how this affects crypto, right? And the funny thing is, when Trump sent seventh group over to Venezuela, yeah, and a few Delta guys. I met one of them. He's pretty cool. And dude, I was so excited to see CW5 to get that Congressional Medal of Honor. That was amazing. But anyway, the point is, the crypto was fine. Last time Israel was bombed back in June of 2025, right? The Operation Retaliation or whatever, Iran sent all these missiles. And I'm going to give you some of the alpha tonight about how this whole thing works. But yeah, so Iran sent I want to say 500 missiles, right? And then there's the Fatah 1, right? And the Fatah 1 is supposed to be hypersonic. I'm going to give you the truth about all this. And it's called there's a vehicle, like, so, you've seen the cluster bombs, right? So what happens is right before it gets to the target, the warhead splits into multiple pieces, and it's hard to shoot them down, right? And there's one that it's like, imagine putting a cannon on a rocket, right? And then all of a sudden it gets to its target, and then the cannon detaches from the missile, and then the cannon shoots again, right, at a very fast speed, and then they want to call it hypersonic. That's all it is, guys. It's all a show. So anyway, but the point of this is, when that happened, the crypto, the stock market, oh man, it took a hit, and we blame that for the reason. And I'm telling you guys, crypto is going to do its thing. The macroeconomics is just going to be the catalyst in which it's going to move it to where it's supposed to be at. Okay, so when Venezuela happened, it was already going to go up. It had nothing to do with Venezuela, right? And speaking of clarity, unfortunately, the Middle East, they've been fighting for a very long time. Sometimes you got to break some eggs to make an omelet. So they're doing that now. And, this is my quick take. And again, it's not political, it's more strategic and economic. But the fact is, Saudi Arabia allowed the United States to come in and take out, or push Saddam back in Desert Storm. This is Desert Storm 2. Saudi Arabia, okay, doesn't want to fight Iran. They don't want Islam's fighting Islams, even though Pakistan and Afghanistan, which are both Sunni majority, they're fighting. Doesn't make any sense. But, there's a lot of Sunni Muslims so you guys, a lot of people don't understand what the difference between a Sunni and a Shia. I'm going to explain it to you. Shias believe in the bloodline of Muhammad. So there's an imam or an ayatollah that is the descendants of Muhammad, right? Well, Trump is basically eliminating their bloodline, okay? And the Sunnis, they operate by consensus, which is kind of funny. They're kind of like the Roman Catholics, where they vote or whatever. Their guy in there. I don't know if it's imam. It's not an imam, but anyway, that's how they do their thing. Okay. The point of this, right, is that a lot of the Middle East has become Sunni. Even Al Qaeda is Sunni, and they congratulated the United States and Israel, believe it or not, for successfully attacking Iran. When Al Qaeda is congratulating us. And I don't know if you guys know about Syria. Yeah, he worked for Al Qaeda. Now he's the prime minister or the president of Syria. Oh, but that's okay. He was part of Al Qaeda. That was just back in the day. We support him now. Anyways, it's kind of messy, guys. I'm a little messy right now. I'm kind of freaking out. But the whole thing, in a good way, because this shit just gets my brain going. I kind of have the tism when it comes to analytics. So here's the thing. Saudi Arabia, we sold them a THAAD missile system, which only, get this, we gave Israel a ton of these THAAD missile systems. They have the Golden Dome. But guess what? We only sold Saudi Arabia like 300 interceptors, which means until Iran, which has about 3,000 missiles, is done using them all, or we blow them all up, Saudi Arabia's like, yeah, dude, if they bomb us like they bomb Israel, we're fucked. And Saudi Arabia says, hey, United States, we need more of these interceptor missiles because they're shooting at us now. Anyway, so that's what's going on in the Middle East. Thank you for listening to my text talk. Do you have any questions? We'll talk about this crypto now, if you want.
Oh, well, I was going to finish that off with, now all the country where they're pointing a gun at Iran now. So everyone attack Iran now. So it's like, that's what they get.
Well, they're not. No. See, this is why I cleared that up. Saudi Arabia said they will attack Iran if Iran attacks them again. They blew up an oil facility. They still didn't attack. And the reason they didn't attack is because they want to stay neutral. Oh, and by the way, I didn't mention China and Russia. What China and Russia have to do with this, China gets about 50% of its oil from Iran, and it goes through the Strait of Hormuz. Those tankers are moving, so they're going to get their oil. And then Russia gives them the rest. Now, Russia they want to use this opportunity because they've been in, getting involved in the Middle East lately. And they, they got all those Kazakhstans and stuff like that, that Azerbaijan and all that. Azerbaijan is, I'm saying that wrong. It is Azerbaijan. There you go. But yeah, so Russia, they want to criticize, they want to condemn. China wants to condemn. They did something in the UN. It's really not going to fly, but they are, taking advantage of this. But anyway, they're not going to do anything, because Russia is too busy dealing with the Ukraine. So anyway, this is just so you guys understand why this is the way this is gonna all work, right? Is it's gonna be a nothing burger in the end. It might sound really freaking cool, right? Everybody thinks it's gonna be World War III. It's not. Some people said, "Oh, China might take this opportunity to take over Taiwan." They do not want this crazy president right now, who's definitely using his arsenal, and he's building his military, and he's spending the money on missiles. Remember, I think it was Teddy Roosevelt that says an unused weapon is a useless weapon. So he's doing this. So this is all about the economy, guys, because this is going to build up the petrodollar again. The oil is at 80%. And EAC, I know we need to get to this. He believes the Fed is going to increase interest rates. There's going to calm inflation because oil prices are skyrocketing. My response to that is the United States is fine. We got plenty of oil here. But yes, the rest of the world, they may have to pay more for oil, including China. And guess what? Russia gets to make some of that money so they can, buy more ammo from China and, circle repeat. So EAC, your hands up. What's up?
Oh, I just wanted to ask you, like, from a military viewpoint, like, do you do feel like the president has a end game plan here? Because the excuses that he made to go there aren't really, like, they're kind of all over the place. And then to actually think, like, for him to actually say, okay, guys, you can overthrow your government now. Now's your chance. That is crazy, bro. In no point in history has that ever happened. And the only people that could ever do that is Americans. The only people that are armed to the teeth that can actually overthrow their government is America. That's the only country, bro. Like,
I agree with you 100%.
Was that actually
cleaning my gun right now
to say, hey, we're gonna drop some bombs, kill this fucking bad guy, and now you guys go overthrow your government? Like, most of those people hate America, bro. So
yeah, especially because if they're Shia Muslim, like I said, you're eliminating their bloodline. The Ayatollah, whether you like it or not, he's divine. He cannot do anything wrong by the Shia Muslims, okay? And you just assassinated him. They assigned a new imam, right? He was there for like all of 5 minutes, and you killed him too. You see, like, they are pissed off. And there is going to be retaliations. Even in Austin, there was, a guy that shot up the club with a property of Allah sweatshirt on. You know what I mean? There's going to be a bunch of those crazies right now. But to get to the bigger question, right, is what does this have to do? What is he trying to do? Who fucking knows? But I can tell you he's very, very, very strategic. And I get a lot of the things he's doing, right? I understand Greenland. And dude, I understand why he wants to take Canada. This is not the first time. Bush said he could take over Canada. Whether that's going to happen or not, I don't think it is, but it really doesn't mean anything. It's more like posturing. What happens when you just take out regime change, it's usually done by the CIA in secret. So, this is not nation building. This is regime change. Okay. And so
but that's the one thing he said that it's not. That's what he's saying it's not. He said this is not a regime change.
He said it. No, JD Vance cleared it up, because JD Vance makes way more sense, by the way. He usually clears up what Trump says. Trump says things for the MAGA people, for the people, you know, he uses fourth grade English and he says it repetitively. So people think it's true after he said it multiple times. Like the Ukraine war wouldn't have started if I was president. Okay. And so now everybody thinks that, even though they know that might not be true, it is. And I talked about this in a previous space. It is a memory technique. But anyway, that's how you brainwash people. But it's all good because, you know, maybe their
Well, I think
brains
that's
need
what he's
washing.
got going on you, that you're always winning and that that inflation isn't happening,
Yes.
that you've never been winning so much that you're getting tired of winning. But are you really winning?
Yes. Yes. Because you know what? It's all
America
a
is winning
Ponzi,
right now.
right? So the dollar, right? Everything, crypto, it's all a Ponzi. If we're winning, you know, and you got to just pick your horse. You know what I mean? And he thinks he's winning. He really does. And you know,
Do you think you're winning?
this is what they voted for.
Do you think you're winning, Tex?
I'm winning in life in different ways. You know, I've always gone with the flow of things. You know, I've always seen the bigger picture. I'm kind of that guy. I'm a old soul, you know, and yeah, I'm winning definitely. But you know, I believe in God, so if you don't believe in God, you know that might be different for you. But it's okay if you don't. But I'm not one of those people that proselytize that. But my life is good, really is.
Okay, I believe you're winning. Do you believe America is winning?
Oh, see, I think, and this is what I think. I think America can do better, and this is a very good question because, you know, while I was standing in the primary line, I'm not shy, and I'll be in a line of, you know, who knows, Democrats, Republicans, whoever, right? And I'm talking. My mom went there with me to vote, and you know, I'm just saying, you know what? I wish I said this out loud in the line. I was kind of saying stuff to get the crowd riled up, you know, just see how people react, you know, because I like to analyze people. But anyways, you know, I said something like, you know, I'm tired of these campaign slogans like, you know, let's change, you know, or make America great again, or, you know, how about we just say we could do better? That should be, maybe I should run for a political office, and that's going to be my slogan. We can do better, guys. You know, that's basically what it is. You know, so to answer your question, EAC, we can definitely do better. And to get into the whole depth of it, I've been saying this, guys. If you heard me ramble on, we are in a Great Depression right now. Another way I can tell you, prove it to you, is Trump is passing these reciprocal tariffs, right? You know, and the Supreme Court says you cannot use the IEAA, you know, to do your tariffs. So he's like, okay, I'll use 3 other ones. Well, the truth is there's 19 other ones. And one of them that I want you guys to pay attention to, it's the year my dad was born, actually, 1934. It was called the Reciprocal Tariff Act of 1934. Do you guys know what was happening in 1934? They were coming out of the Great Depression. So the same things they did back during the Great Depression, they're doing now, which makes you wonder, why are they doing that? It's because we are in a Great Depression. 50 years from now, they're going to be writing about this time, saying this was the worst time in history, right? Believe it or not, you know, they lie about their reports and things like that. Now, you know, we have lots of nice things. You know, it wasn't as, in a sense, it wasn't as bad as the Great Depression was, right? You know, Oklahoma had the Dust Bowl. You know, they didn't have nice things. Okay, well, we could do better, guys. That's what I'm saying. Like we are doing bad, and we can do better because we're in a recession or Great Depression right now. And you know, I truly believe that Trump and our leaders in the United States are desperately trying to get out of it. And yes, they are the ones who caused it. I can name a ton of US presidents that damaged our economy, you know, and we're not going to get into that. What we're going to get into is how we can, you know, set ourselves up for success and how we can do better. And that's why we believe in crypto, because we need to take control of our financial assets. We need a self-custody. And, you know, this whole Clarity Act thing, it has to do with how banks is managing our money, and they're reaping rewards off of it. They're gaining the interest that we're not collecting. Back when I was a young kid, I had a high yield checking account, which paid 3% interest in my savings. Those don't exist anymore. My first house was, there was like 5%, 6% interest, but I was making the money, driving a BMW, doing great. So that's what he's saying when Make America Great Again, is because he remembers when we were doing better. Well, unfortunately, you cannot put I've been hearing this analogy. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. All right. So we have to figure out how to go from here. Now, what we believe in, or at least I hope you guys believe in, is the Bitcoin standard, where we're limiting this, kind of like how they had the gold standard. And really all it matters is that everybody's willing to accept it and adopt it, like they did gold back then, and then they did the dollar. Because if you guys remember, after World War II, the Marshall Plan, the United States used their financial tools to rebuild Europe after, Nazi Germany and all that war shit happened. And don't forget Italy, and don't forget Japan. And now Japan's like our closest economic ally. You guys notice that? It's kind of weird. Even the feds want to buy yen, Japanese dollar, with US dollars. Like, what? I had to Google this. I was like, I didn't even know this. Yes, the Federal Reserve can, like they, can, buy gold or treasury bills. They could buy another country's currency as a reserve. So apparently the dollar is going to be backed up by the yen, which is failing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm pretty much. Any other questions? Hermit, save me. I've been going off for a little bit.
You've been going off for a little bit, and that's all right because you had a lot to say.
What's your voice of reason?
In terms of
everything that's going on, let's answer EAC's question. Is the United States winning right now? Are you winning right now? That's what I care more about. Are you winning right now?
I wouldn't say I'm necessarily winning, but I'm optimistic to an extent. And I'll tell you, I guess it's defined. I'm trying to look more ahead than I am like looking, okay, what's this going to do, in the next week? What's this going to do in the next few months? That's I'm trying to get like a better view of everything. Cause here's the issue was like a lot of like America has this plan of it's like every it seems like every year we have some sort of election of some sort. Wherever you live, you're voting for something. And so you're always voting for like the next thing. And so it's one of those deals. We have this ridiculous habit of, oh, we wanted this fixed right away. And this is not what I asked for. And it's like, well, sometimes if something like if it's not running properly, it's gonna be difficult to fix at times. And what does it look like when it's running properly? I have not. I don't know. I'm not going to profess that I know, but it's like I didn't like the way things were headed, and so it's just like I'm going to vote this way, and I'm not going to expect it to happen overnight. Unfortunately, a lot of people expected everything to happen overnight. My theory in terms of like crypto, it was always, everybody's like, why are we pumping? We were supposed to be pumping. Well, we went to all time highs. The issue is everybody was expecting that all these institutions were going to buy everybody's bags. And so we were already at 120K or something like that. And the institutions hadn't, I wouldn't say some of them hit like with their ETFs, they were in, but not really everybody was in. Um, and so we were just like, oh, we're going so much higher. Then we start dumping. And it's just like, you honestly think that these institutions were going to just buy your bags willy-nilly like this. That was the biggest mistake for a lot of crypto people. They just automatically assumed, you know, the institutions, they're going to be the ones that are the idiots now. And like, again, they're going to buy our bags. Well, you know, when that didn't start happening, people started selling. Everybody starts freaking out, and selling for whatever reason. And then you got your economy stuff. Like honestly, everybody's a professional economist. Everybody on X is a professional at everything, no matter what. And it's just like, do you have any proof of it? I it's like me saying, "Oh, I know exactly how this economy should run." I mean, if it were if it were up to me, I'd be like, "Why is the government overspending? Like, I'm not allowed to overspend, so why is the government allowed to overspend? Oh, well, it's different when they do it." And it's just like, I don't think it is, because it gets us into trouble, further on down the road, and we have a massive tendency to keep kicking the can down the road. We've been kicking the can down the road for, I don't know, probably as
Dude,
long as I've been
you
alive.
got to kick the can. Like that's just part of it. Like there are so many issues with this country since before the Civil War, since the fucking founding of the country. You got to keep kicking the can. Like you wouldn't do anything differently if you're in power.
The thing with the current fiat is that when we stop the gold reserve thing, then you can print money, and that's what happened. Infinite money it's printing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm gonna post you guys. I've been messing around with TradingView. If Steph, you're still here and awake, the question is, what would you do if Bitcoin followed the Fibonacci projection? I just dropped it down in the purple pill, and that shows the red. The big redness is this downtrend we're on, and if you could see what the Fibonacci, and Steph could probably educate you guys on the Elliott wave. There's 6 of them, and we haven't seen a lot of you guys seen the you can call it dead cat bounce. I don't like that term. Or the recovery pump, the right head and shoulders that you saw back in 2022. We know that there's going to be a pump before a further dump. This Fibonacci kind of tells you where that's going to go. It goes to the midline of my upper channel, which is around 84,000. 88,000 is where the liquidity is at. I don't think it's going to go any higher, because there's going to be, of course, that 100,000 psychological and resistance up top. Everybody's bearish right now. So everybody's waiting, and they're not going to buy Bitcoin until the volume comes in. If you have a chart, zoom out. Maybe I'll screenshot that. But look at the volume back in, that was when it was exciting, actually, was at the bottom of, the 17,000 Bitcoin after 69,000. Volume was crazy. People were buying up Bitcoin like it was going to, go to million, and it took FTX, and it took a bunch more time. It took till 2023 when they started doing the ETFs for it finally to, pump. But there was a lot more volume than back then than it is today, so that's when we've hit bottom. And I can keep talking about this.
Sailor's also
What's that?
Sailor's 70,000. Isn't Michael Saylor's average 70K around there?
He's actually lowering it. Yeah, it was 75, but he just bought more. He buys every Sunday. It's Monday.
Yeah,
Monday.
He just bought 3,000 more at 67. So
Yeah.
I mean, that probably puts him over like 69.
Yeah.
On average, low 70.
Yeah, he has 700,000 Bitcoin, but with the other Bitcoin treasuries, it's about 1.3 million Bitcoin. So that's we all know this. We all know that if you're a hodler like me, you're holding on to your Bitcoin. Do not sell your Bitcoin, because they're going to buy it up, and it's going to eventually, you'll never be able to buy it at these prices.
But if it gets suppressed much lower, he's going to have to start releasing some of it, or stop buying at least. I don't know. I mean, maybe he can keep buying.
There's
He's
no
got
way.
enough of it locked up.
There's no way he can release it that much, man. There's no way he can sell.
He can't sell it
at a loss like that.
We had
he has so
we had a long
he can't sell.
Yeah, we had a long conversation about this, and he gonna use his Bitcoin and convert that into kind of loan. Secondary loan.
He's been doing that. I mean, I don't know if he can do much more of that as a financial
No, I
instrument,
mean, so his math is at one point, don't know when that is, Bitcoin gonna get stabilized as, I don't know, let's call it like $200,000 stabilized, right? meaning that it go up to whatever 3 something, and the bottom is $300,000, right? At that point, if he gather like 5% of it, I mean, he has enough money to start a fucking little, collateral bank. Just load it out and you whatever how that works. And he do right anyway. Like he has MSCR, which is his class A, then TRC, whatever that fuck is, it's like another kind of share that he paid dividend. So you buy that, he get the money and go buy Bitcoin, right? And so it's just a lot of way for him to work that backward when he hit that 5%. The question now I have for him is like, would he stop at 5% or he keep going? You know? And it just, but he won't sell. He can't. The day he sell, the whole market. If he sell one Bitcoin, like it's a joke, yo, it's not funny. Like people are gonna sell the shit, dude.
But
No, I
but
mean,
he has
that's the thing.
been
He
just on
can't
a
sell because he
personal
can't take a
level.
loss.
But
For his
he can't
corporate.
on the company level.
No,
But him and
yeah.
all of his board, as soon as they get distributions of Bitcoin, they're dumping right away. I mean,
You
look
guys
at
really
the
need to
chart.
listen to each other and let one person talk at once,
We
please.
don't listen. Crypto Cam and I know what the other thinking.
I know.
We're good.
You're my friends. But Barbie has her hand up. That beautiful white hand. I'm gonna give her a high five in yellow. X keeps updating my app, and I need a nice darker shade for my hand. Okay, go ahead, Barbie.
So I mean, we kind of passed this bit of conversation. You guys kept trucking. I fully hopped out of the shower because I had something to say here. But anyways, I was gonna say, I'm curious what you think is like. I'm just learning about this right now, but more so about the bond market. And obviously, like I'm working with gold-backed bonds, so I'm curious as to your thoughts on how the bond market is going to be affected by, like, I know we're predominantly focused on crypto, but again, I'm just kind of learning about bonds. So I'm just looking for other people who know more information so I can continue to learn as I take on this new role. I'm just curious how you think everything that's happening is going to affect the bond market, specifically gold bonds.
Absolutely. I could definitely talk about bonds and I could talk about gold. So yeah, definitely I'll get into that. I sent some mic invites. Let me pull up some stuff for you. We're going to talk about inflation, right? EAC, we're going to talk about inflation because inflation is the reason for bonds. Okay, so that's why you buy bonds, is because you take advantage of inflation and those higher rates. And what gold does, right? Because gold is very solid as far as its price and growth. You can pretty much, bet on that bond, that gold bond. So it is very lucrative. But yeah, we want to get into that. And Moni posted in the purple pill, what's up with XRP? And I usually, there's a couple of people that have certain feelings about XRP, but she says, Trump, what's the holdup with the Clarity Act? And I don't know if you guys seen my repost, but and maybe I'll play it because it's a short clip by Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano. Yeah, some people don't like to talk about Cardano either, but I like it.
Founder of ETH too.
He has some great freaking points. He said the Clarity Act is garbage. And I think I want to play that quote. So, but the point is, he mentions XRP in this. Yeah, it's 3 minutes, guys. Let me load it up and then talk amongst yourself.
Uncle Chuck, whiteboard video time.
He literally mentioned both the cryptos that I absolutely hate, XRP and Cardano.
I like both. I made a lot in both, more than
I know,
almost
I know,
anything besides
Barbie.
EVM.
I know.
Yeah, I like XRP too. So.
I know, but
there
we
ain't
have
no
a
better place to
XRP.
rob a bank than on the ledger of XRP.
We have a member
Yeah,
of the
I'll buy
XRP
XRP
army
like it's 20
here,
cents.
and we don't judge in this show, so we're gonna go over it real quick.
Hold on, you want to hear the
I
irony?
definitely do judge XRP's trash.
The irony of all of this is really that we're about to be working, like the gold-backed bond project is about to be working with Ripple, and I found that out, and I was like, I better stop talking about how I hate Ripple.
Yo, those guys are fucking superstars. Like, if they wouldn't have been able to pull off what they pulled off, none of us would be in crypto right now because the SEC would be shutting everything
they
down.
fought the
And
law
Ripple
and
is
they
different
won.
than the XRP
Well, I know, but
and all
yeah, but I'm
All
saying
right, don't make me mute you guys because I want to play this thing.
they
All right.
started this shit. They're
You understand
superstars.
that an adversarial SEC, this is a fucking wet dream. You start as a security, all new cryptocurrency projects. The legacy ones like Cardano and Ethereum and XRP will likely be grandfathered in. Everybody else starts as a security, all new projects. And then rulemaking in a room with people, eventually the Democrats who are right now campaigning on all crypto is corruption, crypto equals Trump equals bad, will kick into effect. It'll take years to get through, and then these standards will come out. And instead of having Scary Gary rolling the dice with no law and ambiguity in a court that's favorable to us, they now have HR 3633 with no developer protections. They were stripped out. Everything starting as a security by default, and numerous procedural attack vectors to keep you as a security forever. And as a security, you can't get liquidity. So how do you broaden the ownership of the token? As a security, there's no token go up. So how do you get people to invest in your ecosystem and build in your ecosystem when they have non-security standards that exist? And they can trap us like they did with BitLicense, like the FDA does with approvals, and like the SEC did previously under Gensler with bureaucratic nonsense. This is why I'm opposed to the bill. It's not sour grapes that I wasn't in the room. I was in the room for 3 fucking years since the FIA in 2022 with Lummis's staff. And we started with a principles-based approach. 137 amendments later, including Elizabeth Warren, and they stripped out the developer protection. So Tornado Cash plus. They made everything a security by default. And because it looks like XRP might get a pass and be one of the grandfathered in, including Cardano, in this whole process, I guess we just have to pass a horrific trash bill that makes everything a security by default, and it creates attack vectors through bureaucratic nonsense for the SEC to destroy all future American cryptocurrency projects. And also, there's nothing in this for DeFi. Nothing. Uniswap doesn't get anything. Prediction markets don't get anything. But Armstrong can't even get his yield-bearing stablecoins. This is not a good bill. Through rulemaking, it can become horrific and weaponized, and it doesn't cover the core of what's going on in the industry right now. Then they say we can always amend the bill later. Then why is there such a rush to pass it? Do you want?
Yeah. Very, very strong
He's
word.
one of the. I think he's the smartest person in the space. At least that's his vocal.
Dude, he said it absolutely right, man. I agree with him. You know, why are they in a hurry to pass it? You know, we were all in a hurry for the ETFs to buy Bitcoin. And look at it now. Now people are complaining because the ETFs are selling on our heads and manipulating it. Be careful what you wish for, people. Now, I'm just a fucking Texan. I can't do anything about this. I can just leverage trade.
Uncle
I can
Chuck
just click
is
the
a
button.
G.
What? So yeah, if you're gonna say something, like say something. But yeah. So I hope you got all that. The main thing is for XRP and Cardano and a lot of your blue chips, your Solana, your BNB, your Ethereum, you guys are gonna be great. Everybody else is fucked. Okay, because the SEC, even though the SEC chair right now is pro crypto, what he wanted was to break, crypto into categories: commodities, securities, collectibles, and utilities. This Clarity Act, and I haven't read the whole thing, but what Cardano, Charles Hoskins is saying, everything is a security. No innovations, that the SEC said you can have an innovation exemption. And they were saying that you don't have to declare what you are, whether you're a security or not. You're an exemption for now. But what this Clarity Act is saying is they're all securities. We don't have a choice. And this is what lawmakers do. This is what Congress and tax collectors do to us, is they want us to follow their rules so they can control us. Nothing about DeFi, right? Because DeFi is not controllable. Now, it's so funny because you guys have probably seen the news, while they're not passing the Clarity Act, they want to pass the anti-CBDC, law into this current bill that they're, putting. And then they say, this is a smart thing they do. They're saying, oh, there's going to be a sunset date. So in 2031, CBDCs are going to be okay. And that's like, if you believe everything is fucking scripted, everything is like, coded, right? Who the fuck is the president in 2030? Let's fucking find out. Let's fuck around and find out, people. We got a short amount of time.
It's because you got to have a tobacco guy in there for the CBDC stuff. Like, it's cutting in too much. These little lollipops that the girls are on these days, the little weed lollipops, it's eating up the tobacco industry right now. The tobacco got in the vape, but then everybody left the vapes for the little CBD lollipops, and the tobacco companies aren't in that shit. But back to crypto.
I don't understand anything you just said, and I think we're dumber for it. But yeah, back to crypto. Go ahead.
No, I think he mistakes the bill. The CB is a digital currency. That's what Texas meant to say. Well, it wasn't CBD like the marijuana smoking. Just want to clarify that.
Yeah, get your head out of the fucking gutter there, fucking swamp man.
Man,
I'm not talking about CBDs.
Together.
I'm talking about
it's all
central bank digital currencies.
It's all the banking and the right wing and the tobacco. It's all together. They're combining all that shit by the time it's all passed.
Put down the 8-pound hammer. And when you say you're sober, just because you're off like whatever other drugs you're doing, weed's a drug. Okay.
I'm off everything except for honey right now. I'm on a lot of honey, off everything else.
Hey, I'm on drugs right now, dude. It's called Wellbutrin. Okay. And I got a bunch of other fun things that they want me to take, but I don't take. But anyways, let's continue. Well,
on the crypto topic, if you want to go back to that. Okay.
Yeah, you're the one who took us off for that, dude.
I didn't take us off. I took a slight detour to combine the two. But
okay,
Uncle Chuck, Charles Hoskinson is without a doubt this thing he's did with Midnight. He also is a founding guy on Hedera. Look at the things he's been pushing: Ethereum Foundation, then Cardano, then Hedera, now Midnight, and all the stuff that he's been up to. That's one smart dude, and he's brought all of Argentina in to the hustle. He is more influential than you realize, but the thing is, the Republicans got bought out by the banks with their lobbyists. At least on the Senate was. I don't know if Trump for sure is.
Elizabeth Warren. Let's not go Republican Democrat here, because Elizabeth Warren's on the Senate Banking Committee and she's a Democrat.
Elizabeth Warren's
she's
piece of trash. She goes the highest bidder no matter what. Always has. And
but
I'm saying to reach Mitch McConnell,
Republicans or Democrats, let's just speak the truth.
Mitch McConnell, the bank's got the whole Senate Republican camp. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying the House
the three Republicans before Trump got there. Yeah, got it.
One thing I want to say about the banks, though, that I think they understand that they have to get on board, because AI agents don't walk into a bank and write a check. They'll need the blockchain, so they understand that AI agents are going to be doing financial transactions for people, so they got to get on board.
Well, they're not on board.
100%.
They're just they're kicking the can. They're extending their lifespan. Is all they're trying to do with clarity.
You're repeating yourself. I get it.
I'll mute myself. All right.
Calm down. All right. I love Drew. Trust me. He just, you get him wound up. He's like me. But anyhow, Drew, you're not the host. Okay. There's another time and place for that. But
only one crazy white boy at a time. Okay?
Thank you. I'm only half white.
Around this.
I'm only half white.
Cam. I know. Hey, right. But don't fuck me up. Yeah, we're good.
My white Oklahoman side's gonna come out. So here's the thing. EAC, you're absolutely freaking right. Okay. The banks have to get on board. The governments have to get on board because they're losing control, right? They're losing control of their petrodollar. They're losing control of their world reserve currency. There's BRICS. There was the euro dollar before that, right? It's slowly, that this is what the bigger picture. We were asked what Trump is doing right now. He's taking away oil, bringing back petrodollar, making Russia rich and the United States rich because they are the biggest producers of oil. And then it's actually OPEC, right? And then this whole thing with Iran, it's closing down the Strait of Hormuz, right? There, I could show you pictures of the, if you go to marine tech, marine traffic, and you can see all these oil tankers sitting outside of Singapore that they were on the way from China, because China imports like 80% of their energy in oil.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. And so they're literally anchored outside Singapore, and they're anchored outside the Strait of Hormuz, and they're probably anchored, and then they have to go all the way around Africa to get to fucking Russia to get their oil. I'm watching these tankers, and I guarantee by the time those tankers get to the Strait of Hormuz, the war is going to be over. Those tankers are moving right now. So, the thing is, China hasn't said anything yet. But when their tankers get to the fucking Strait of Hormuz, I guarantee everybody's going to be like, okay, we're not going to fuck with China. All right? And we don't fuck with China. The United States doesn't fuck with China either. But the way we do it, right? We fuck with China, so we take away their resources. We took away the oil in Venezuela. And it brings them to the table. This whole tariff thing, right? It's all like, I always said World War III is not going to be fought with bullets and tanks. It's going to be fought through financials. And Bitcoin is apolitical. Gold is apolitical. Silver is apolitical. In fact, I like gold and silver because it's biblical. It's outlasted everything. When they fucking talk about it in the Bible about gold and silver, if you read the Bible, them talking about gold and silver as that's how valuable that is. And there's a lot of people that value gold and silver like that. Okay. Crypto is just a new age gold, and maybe Ethereum's the silver. Bitcoin's the gold. This is our new thing to obsess over. But it really doesn't matter. What matters is that we're taking control in our own hands, where these banks think they had control over us. In fact, banks had control over the governments before there were governments. Okay, so banks were there way before that. And here's the other thing. They talk about. I want to get into this Supreme Court decision because that's another. There's huge catalysts in order for crypto to do well. It's the new Fed chair, right? It's the Clarity Act, and it's this tariff thing, because the tariff thing, right, leads to stimulus. Okay, and I hope you guys understand that. And so the tariff, the Supreme Court, I got bored one day, and I hear Trump disrespecting these Supreme Courts. 5 of them didn't show up to a State of the Union, which is remarkable because that rarely ever happens. 5 of them of the 9, right? And I read their statements, and literally what they were saying is that the executive power doesn't have the constitutional right to levy taxes, which they consider tariff taxes. Well, if that's true, then why are there 19 tariff acts that Congress gave that power to the president to do? If that's true, why now does the Supreme Court want to change the entire trajectory of the United States history and the balance of powers? Okay, this is incredible. And maybe it goes back to when Obama said the Constitution is a piece of paper. The Constitution states that it's against the law, and look at all your country constitutions, it's against the law to create your own paper money, guys. So, okay, crypto's not paper money, but if the Supreme Court says, you know what, I think Bitcoin is paper money and it's unconstitutional, that can happen too. So this is the kind of stuff that we're starting to see, and it's really just centralization versus decentralization. It's them trying to keep control over us. And I'm not just a crazy person like, trying to, break down the gates of these governments and centralization. I'm just calling it out for what it is. And we have to be aware of this as we move forward in our crypto journey. They are going to be against us. They're going to try to control us.
Can we use Web3 Journey since that's the name of my podcast?
What's that?
Can we say Web3 Journey and say Crypto Journey? It's the name of my podcast.
I don't care what you use. I mean, Web3 crypto, right? Web3 is the evolution of Web2, which is right.
We in Web 2.5 right now. Web 3 is the metaverse.
We are
other
going
side ain't it.
We're going to Web 4 right now. Forget Web 3. Web 4 right now. People are already doing that shit.
I mean, yeah, 10. You could sell that vaporware, and just like
Hermit may be in Web 3, but the rest of us ain't yet.
Yeah, of course we want to call it Web 4. Of course we want to. We want to sell the latest thing that hasn't even been invented yet.
I got Web 5.
Oh, shit. You got the Web 5? How can I get some of that Web 5, baby?
Yeah. I can't even define Web 4. I'm still trying to get Web 3 here.
Yo, I'm not even
on Web 5, everything.
Okay, we're going to need Web 5. Everything got fucked up along the way.
Who's even using the web
Bosomatics on stage. Now we're going downhill. Well, welcome, brother.
What's up, Drew?
Barbara, you were saying?
Just caused a little chaos trying to get Crypto Cam upset with a lot of side talk.
Good. We need some
Dude,
drama.
Stop gaslighting my speakers. No, so seriously, like what we've been seeing in the crypto market is we're starting to see Web 2, TradFi, right? Tokenized gold, tokenized RWAs, right? They're trying to, move the stuff out of Web 2 into Web 3 when it was perfectly fine in Web 2. Oh, well, we don't have to KYC. We don't have to do this. There was regulations on the stock market for a reason. The stock market has a kill switch for a reason. Because
Wall Street can cheat.
Well, you could stop people from cheating too. Because they can create a crisis, right? And then they can crash the market and buy it up. What are they doing with Bitcoin? October 10th, for example. Okay, do you need a kill switch for October 10? I don't think so, but I'm just saying this is what they want. But it doesn't matter. We're gonna continue.
Man, Tech's getting hot tonight.
What happened? I missed. What happened October 10th? I missed that one.
Okay, you talked over Cam, dude. You and Drew.
All right, so here, October 10th. October 10th was that massive dump that took like liquidated. I don't know, half the market.
$19 billion.
October 10th.
It was an auto deleverage event too at Binance. And
I got lucky. All my buddies told me to stablecoin in October. I did October 1st. Stablecoin on.
Oh, you're lucky.
I got lucky.
No kidding.
Yeah, but stablecoins don't last in my wallet very long. That's the downside of that.
Hey, I do want to read these off because I threw a mic to Frankie. Frankie is an awesome guy, makes great takes. He says Charles Hoskin did not bring in the Argentinians, Drew Roberts. I agree with him. And actually, text change with Iran, Venezuela coming back online, it will lower the price of oil and hurt Russia. Correct. Yes, I think that the United States wants to control. Hold on. Damn, someone needs to mute him. So yeah, the United States needs to control the amount of oil, right? And lower it, right? And then everybody's going to buy it from them. And then the Middle East can't sell oil at high prices. Russia can't sell their oil to continue to take over Ukraine. Thank you for muting it, by the way. But yeah, so I just want to reply to Frankie, and I agree. This is a strategic move. Now, we don't have all night. You got to come here often for me to go into all the big picture stuff. But I want to be repetitive and, get this through everybody's heads, that this is where we're going. Let's see. Frankie also says Congress has passed statutes that delegate some tariff-related authority to the president or executive agency in limited ways. Trade Promotion Authority, TPA laws, like the Trade Act of 1974. Yes, this is the one they're using right now. Let the president negotiate trade agreements, part 2. Yeah, and the reason also, when I read the Supreme Court decision, they said that, he, under the Emergency Powers Act, he can regulate commerce. It doesn't say he could tax or tariff. So they said regulate is not tariffing. Well, I think tariffs regulate commerce, but what did I know? They clearly against him, but it doesn't matter. The reason I bring up the different tariff acts is because I'm proving that we're in a Great Depression right now, and we're doing things to get out of the Great Depression. Like when the 1934 Reciprocal Tariff Act was passed, okay, we were in a Great Depression. So that's why, what is Trump doing? What was Liberation Day? It was a reciprocal tariffs. It's the same thing he did, or we did, during the Great Depression. This is just clues for you guys. That change tariff levels without Congress amending the deals end. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Frankie. You're on the same page as me. You just say it differently. But you make very good points. Anyway, is everybody can talk now? Yeah, okay, good. Hermit, are you there?
They're afraid to talk right now. They didn't want to.
Because they got the bamboo stick?
They got the bamboo stick, and now they don't want to talk, which is fine. I think, dude, it's just one of those deals. My only hope, the hope that I have in regards to all of this, is that it's basically crypto has the one good thing that crypto has is that it is able to move quickly and innovate relatively quickly. So that to me is one of the best things about it. Now, obviously, it's warped our viewpoints on a lot of things, but at that point, if you don't like how things are being done, it's kind of hard for anybody to kind of realize that, who are making decisions, because I can guarantee you, again, none of them know jack shit about crypto. And so at that point, you have to, as a crypto person, contact these people and be like, hey, yes, they have these titans of crypto industry, telling them how to do things, but it would also be helpful if everybody could get on the same page as well in crypto, and just being like, hey, idiots, this is what you should be doing. You should listen to these people and not to these other lunatics, and here's why you shouldn't be doing what these other a-holes want. Now,
the chances of 5 people in crypto getting on the same page is like nil.
Sorry, I accidentally hit mute on you. That's my bad. Yeah, but I agree. Again, it just comes down to, dude, if it's like, again, if we can't all get in the same page and move the same direction at some point, then we're already effed. And that's just the way it's gonna be. And you either like it or you don't. If you don't like it, then just, I guess, sit down and shut up. Like, you don't say anything if you're not willing to, do something about it, essentially, is what I would get to. But I mean, dude, it's we could sit here and be doomers all the time, but it's annoying to be a doomer constantly, nonstop. It sucks. And again, it's just like, I might feel, well, I can't do anything about this. Well, you know what? It's like, dude, I've gotten pissed off so many times this year over stupid things. I've actually written to my representative. Has anything happened? No. But you know what? At least I'd said, you know what? I was like, F it. I was like, can you guys pull your heads out of your asses long enough to actually get something accomplished? It's not very difficult. And again, like, I can see where things are headed to an extent, and I don't like it, but I know the way to fix it. It's not going to be easy, and it's going to cause some pain. And it is what it is. Like, that's the other thing. People are afraid to just, like, you know, I don't want it. They've been coddled too much, and quite frankly, pardon my language, they're a bunch of pussies. You can't do hard work. I can't do this. You got AI's gonna take my job. All right, well then you can cry about it, or you can do something about it. Do you want to learn how to use AI? Maybe you should do that. It's like it's just like it's just nonstop. If it isn't one thing, it's another. And I was just like, you guys are like way too coddled and everything else. It's just like, I'm not the most well-off person on the planet. I'm just not. But it's like, I'm not going to sit here and just whine too much like I am whining right now. But it's just like, dude, let's just sack up and let's get things done and get things accomplished. And again, like I said this years ago. I was just like, we're waiting for the stupid federal government to actually accomplish something. How long has it been? Freaking forever. And I was
It
just
will
like,
never.
and I was just like, but then at that point, it's just like, okay, where can you have the most effect? I don't know. Probably your next door neighbor if you have them, and if you like them. If you don't like them, then yeah, screw them. But it's like your neighbor, your businesses. You probably go to a bunch of businesses, but you go to the same ones over and over and over again. They know who you are. You just be like, hey, have you thought about this? Hey, have you thought about that? It's like, start bringing everybody else on board. Start making the change in your own community, and at that point, you don't have to worry about the federal government, because then you can already start your own little ecosystem essentially, and be like, hey, this is what works for us on a small scale. Oh, okay, cool. You know what? Go talk to the bank. I'm sure if you live in a small town, you probably have some sort of small town bank that's not necessarily a chain bank, not your Bank of America or Wells Fargo or whatever, but it's Podunk Farmers of Podunk Bank or something like that. I don't know, but just be like, hey, you know, you guys could probably get on this crypto train before everybody else does, because you don't have to answer to anybody. It's like, hey, here's what you can do. Here's how you can do it. No, don't do that, Drew.
I get the floor.
Yeah, you
All
get
right.
the floor. I'm just
Appreciate it.
rambling.
Yeah, no, you're not rambling. You're making good points. In the future,
King's the voice of
so the
reason.
P word, say sissy punk sissy. It's a much more
right.
gender neutral way of saying it.
Thanks.
And then as far as local banks, they're still controlled by the same mindset, the same. They're just trying to be like a big bank, and they're not going to do anything outside the norm. I have friends that are on that run local banks and own them. Like they ain't gonna venture out into crypto. They can't. There's too many regulations and too much red tape, even at a local branch, that one office bank. And then as far as like I think like what you said about contacting your neighbor, that is the best thing. Scratch your own itch, build infrastructure that you and your buddies will use, and hardware. Get off of the fucking Apple and Android shit. Like once you go Linux on a desktop or a laptop, and then you go Linux on your phone, it changes and opens up doors that when you bring your friends onto that, you just buy them one from the pawn shop, wipe it, throw Arch, by the way, on it, and just give it to them. It changes their mental model, and that's the easiest way to scratch your own itch and get people off. Like, don't come at it from crypto. Just come at it from saying, get off the damn grid, especially if you're in the country or anywhere, anywhere where there's red-blooded Americans. Off the grid is the easiest sell. You're not even talking crypto or anything else. You're not talking AI. You're just talking off the grid. And I think that's the easiest way to go about it.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, while we're talking about circuit breakers, the South Korean circuit breaker just flipped. Now, giving context, obviously the fear mongering has hit the timeline. They were hitting all-time highs for the last month. Now they just decided to take profit, but it was an 8% drop. And by the way, I've been watching those Chinese oil tankers on marine traffic. I'm also watching the Korean ones as well. So there's a lot of stuff that's happening in the world economy. And that's the thing with crypto, it's apolitical. Like, we can, they can buy and sell their crypto. Iran apparently has a bunch of Bitcoin miners, and when we bomb them, they go offline. I don't know if that's true or not. They say it is. I'll have to check my miners to see if the hash rate, changes. But anyway, this is all, us just trying to, do our own thing, to create a parallel economy. We're nobody. Talk to your neighbors. We can't take down a government, nor should we. We need the government. We need the roads. We need the internet. We need the FDAA or whatever to fly our planes from one place to another. But what we don't need is them to control our money. We don't need these banks, guys. And we could just custody our own crypto. We could trade crypto. We can barter with it. We already do, but we just do it with monkey pictures. So let's just, keep this going. My phone, by the way, is at 7%. I literally have it sitting on my wireless charger. My port doesn't work. I need to get a new phone. But, I got to change all my apps and stuff like that. And I might get an iPhone because apparently, even though that, X has this new Android beta, it sucks. I can't even go to spaces with it. And I can't post on the Jumbotron. So I dropped it in the purple pill about South Korea. Enjoy. Yeah, that's pretty much it out of me. I think we covered all the topics that I wanted to get into. And, just last thing on breaking news, Altcoin Daily says that the crypto advisor Patrick Witt gives an update on the Crypto Market Structure Bill Clarity Act. The main issue that's been the sticking point in this is the stablecoin rewards and yield. Crypto has made considerable strides in coming to a compromise. It's time for the banks to reciprocate and strike a deal on this. Everything else will fall in place after that. Okay, whatever, guy. But yeah, again, that is where it's at. Congress has not scheduled to vote on this or work on this. It's not on the schedule. The president talked about this in his State of the Union. He wants to push the SAVE Act across, although it was bullish that he mentioned the Clarity Act tonight on Truth Social. I'm not going to read it. It's long, but the point is he finally talked about crypto, guys. But he does it in a nonchalant. He does it because he's attacking Democrats, right? He's using crypto to, leverage his voters, which is fine by me, dude. Whatever. But it is what it is, right? So, yeah, I don't even see any speakers anymore, guys. It's just, my fucking app is probably fucked.
I don't see any either. They're dropping off.
All right.
They're just saying,
well, cool.
F this.
Well, we did an
no,
hour and a half.
Not. You're so dramatic. There's still people here.
I'm the least dramatic person on here.
I'm dramatic. Tonight. I'm not gonna lie.
Tonight? Okay. Never mind. I'm just gonna leave that there. But
well, okay, but yeah. I'll admit tonight I can be dramatic.
I don't think I've been dramatic, but apparently I have been. That's okay.
You're the opposite of dramatic. That's why I need you, Herman. You're my voice of reason. You're the calm one.
Well, I'm just trying to tell people to, just get after it. Whoever's left, just get after it.
I appreciate you guys for the space tonight and all of the conversation. I still never had my bond question answered.
I didn't forget you, Barbie. I got it right here.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You forgot.
No, okay? I didn't. I literally pulled it up. I have it right in front of me.
Let's talk about it. I need education.
Okay.
No, I mean, I've really started learning about the bond market a lot because of this project. So I'm just, like I said earlier, I'm just looking for other people's perspectives on it, just so I can have multiple, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Multiple pieces of information that I might be missing. Because I mean,
Yep.
I'm gonna soft shell here, and can I?
Yeah, absolutely.
So basically, I'm working with a stable coin that's backed by gold reserves, by gold bonds that we have in the Federal Reserve. And so I mean, I've started finding out about the bond market. Clearly, it's a lot more TradFi. I'm not as familiar with TradFi as I am with crypto. Obviously, with current ongoings, I'm becoming more privy. But I'm curious as to what your thoughts are.
Yeah. So the main thing is, and I had to explain this because my parents use a lot of bonds, right? And bonds can also be, a tax write-off. For example, like a municipality bond. Um, so bonds, there's war bonds, there's treasury bonds and all that. Your bonds is different, but bonds all operate, the same in this sense. And I'm going to read the AI overview because they probably say it better than me. And I have like Frankie down there. He's still there correcting me, but I'm going to read off what it says and then explain it. Inflation is generally negative for existing fixed rate bonds because it reduces the purchasing power of future interest payments and often triggers interest rate hikes, which cause bond prices to fall. When inflation rises, this is the thing you need to listen to, central banks often increase interest rates, driving up bond yields and causing market prices for existing bonds to drop. So, inflation, which apparently is going to happen because all of this oil, but that's debated. But Frankie says it's going to lower the oil prices, which will cause inflation to go down. But in the meantime, inflation goes up. The thing is, bonds, what they do is they add stability for big time investors, people that don't want to mess with this market. Corporate bonds, like the ones that Strategy Sailor does, you can invest in Bitcoin without having to deal with the volatility. They will average it out. So when you buy a bond at high interest rates, right, and then the interest rates drop, you still have those bonds paying high interest rates. It's a way of locking it in. Now, when you have a gold-backed bond, right, gold is because, like I was saying earlier, is a steady, valuation. It increases steadily over time. It's not volatile, and it's been hitting all-time highs. It is very lucrative in the sense that it has everybody's attention. And like I said, gold and silver and is biblical. People love that shit. So they want to have gold-backed bonds. In fact, Texas wants to have a digital dollar of themselves, a Texas dollar that's backed by gold. They've been passing it through the House. It's taking the Texas Senate. So so hopefully that helps. Barbie, do you have any questions? I can keep going. But I give you like the basis of why bonds are important and how gold-backed bonds, because that I don't want to say guaranteed to go up, right? That's the interest. You're guaranteed they can,
So that's exactly why I was like really interested in working with this project. Was I figure like the price of gold basically goes up regularly, and to tokenize gold bonds seems like the logical next step in moving from TradFi to crypto. So yeah, that's the I don't know. Give me your feedback on what you think of the tokenization of the gold bonds.
Yeah, absolutely. And tokenizing gold, period, too. So this is my view. I don't want to take money, liquidity out of crypto to buy tokenized gold. But that's just as a crypto maxi, right? But that's what people want. People want tokenized gold. They don't want the actual physical gold. As long as they have a trusted provider of tokenized gold that legit has gold, and there are some. I'm not going to bash on that. There's, it's kind of like trusting a bank. I do trust my bank, to a certain degree, and they haven't done me wrong. But there's some things I don't like fees. But yeah, so the point is, it's a very big selling point Also, like the fact that you know, gold, people stop buying treasury bonds, gold, municipality bonds, government bonds, treasury bonds, corporate bonds, because well, corporate bonds is still lucrative if you know the right company. But the fact is, you know, people don't want to buy that shit anymore, right? They don't want to buy treasury bonds from the government. You know, they want to buy gold-backed bonds, right? That sounds way better, you know. And it's just like that. There's security. Hopefully that helps. I mean, that this is for people that are more conservative. You know, they're gonna want to buy gold-backed bonds. Period.
So based on that, you are saying it's a good idea, not financial advice, but follow gold-backed bond. It is in Barbie's bio. Something you want to get into. We've already started pre-sale at 80 cents on the dollar. And that will be going up to 85 cents March 31st. So, you know, now I'm just hard chilling.
Yeah. It's all good. You know, this isn't, you know, one of those spaces. We're unrecorded, you know. This is the community space. It's just for the degens. And, you know, thank you everybody for coming. You know, Herman and I are your designated degens. We try to teach people how to degen responsibly. We talk about these issues once a week. So there's a lot, and you know how crypto moves, and especially the geopolitical that affects the crypto, their macroeconomic targets. You know, yes, we do have a 4-year cycle apparently, you know, but I think we have more importantly, we have a macroeconomic cycle. That's the crypto and markets are moved by the news. So it's important to talk about it. We cover it every week. I can't do this every day. I have a life, and it's only going to get better. I am winning EAC. Yeah, I want to thank you guys for coming out. Let's get any closing statements, Hermit, Barbie. I don't see any speakers, and then maybe I'll play some music.
Go ahead, Hermit. I was just gonna say, yeah, just do what I said. I mean, in terms of like, you want to start making a difference, just start where you can, and not just sit there and, you know, feel defeated every 2 seconds. Like, control what you can control, and let the other chips fall where they may at that point.
Amen. Barbie?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for having me as a co-host today and up in your space. I do love this space. I think there's a lot of really valuable information that you guys share here. You guys are extremely knowledgeable. So just excited that I have the opportunity to be on the panel and as a co-host. So thank you so much, Tex.
Anytime, Barbie, my Web3 wifey. Okay, so guys, I want, you know, we're not doom and gloom here. We enjoy things, especially AI. We embrace it. We're not afraid of it. And they make goddamn good Trump remixes. Here you go. It's called This Is America. Your money, get your money. And it's actually, the real song says, Get Your Money, Black People. Maybe next time we'll talk about Liberia. But anyway, that's on another show. Thank you for coming, everyone. Thank you for coming late, Andy. I will see you in your space later. Frankie, thanks for the text. EAC, dude, we got to get on that prediction market. Apparently, the Clarity Act doesn't cover it. And when Polymarket US, and then Holy NFTs, Daughter of Zeus, and sticking my .heine.soul. Heine.soul, dude, that's great community. Steph's not here, but he's I'm going to be doing a lot more spaces with him because we are doing some crazy stuff on the Bitcoin chart. I didn't bore you with all my technical analysis tonight. I did post one of them. I'm going to be doing more. Maybe I'll cover the Elliott wave, which we're waiting for that repump on the crypto chart, on the Bitcoin chart. But just keep an eye on Solana. It's like the front run of the market. So that's all we got to do is just watch what Solana does. But with that, I'm out. Later. 6 seconds for the audience to hear me ramble.
Bye, Ted.
Bye, Barbie. Bye, Hermit. Bye, Andy. Bye, Frankie.
Deuces.